to episode 5 or 6 of the Bucks of Nebraska Podcast. I'm Cody Neer. I'm here again with Matt Williams and Zach Bryant, and we have a scorcher of a topic to start out at the top of the hour.
It's really not a scorcher.
This one will get me fired. Okay,
no changing answers.
Let me ask the question. Okay, let me ask the question.
Let me answer the question.
Well, no, you are the one that made me pause on this one. If you're shed hunting,
Hold on.
Let's get to the question.
Let's get it out.
And then
I'm chasing this buck, right? And I've hunted him for 2 years. And I invite these two jabronis onto my farm to shed hunt with me.
It's a whole nother question.
It's a different question. Let's open it up with the original question. Then
I think there's multiple variations here.
Yeah,
So
I think the viewers are going to love to hear this, especially if they're into shed hunting, especially if they're chasing big deer.
And we're getting close to shed season, so this is pretty.
We're in it, right?
We're in it, man.
Let's do
We're
it.
in
So,
shed season.
question is, if you're shed hunting and you're with your friends, that has to be noted, and you are on their property or your property or anybody's property. So
Permission. It could be permission.
property. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just, the property is irrelevant in this question to preface. Okay. And you're shed hunting with a group, and the first guy finds a shed.
Whose farm is it?
It's
Anyway,
it's property agnostic right now. Okay. It doesn't matter in this portion of the question. You're shed hunting. You're with your friends. Friends, note that one. You're anywhere in the world that has deer, okay? You find the shed, the first person to find the shed, okay? The second person finds the other half of the same deer, the other side of the shed. Who gets the pair?
You've asked this question. You've asked this question a little different.
Or do you both just keep your own side?
No, somebody's leaving with the match set.
And you explain to me right now how that makes any sense.
I will explain to you how it's worked for me in the past, but this was on a farm that the two of us hunted together, right? We both knew of this buck, JP drop time, big 8-pointer, had about a 4 or 5 inch drop. Okay. Chris found the first side.
Same day or a different day?
No, like almost probably 2-3 weeks.
This is done. We're not even the same day. Zero chance if you find the shed one day and I find the shed the next day that you automatically get my shed. You better
Let me just
texting, sending me your.
Let me talk to these guys real fast.
Facilities. You better be giving me poems. You better be pleasing me and asking me all sorts of questions, because there's zero chance you automatically get it just because you found
the way we've done it in the past is if I find the first side and my friend finds the second side, whoever found the first side gets the match.
Okay. Remind me never to go shed hunt with you. What are your thoughts?
My question to you guys was, before we went on the podcast, is if we're shed hunting, I invite you. So I want to shed hunt my farm. I invite you guys because I need more eyes, more people walking the farm. We got to find some sheds. Whose sheds are they if they're found? And Matt said, well, they'd be my sheds because they're my farms.
You own the deer?
I would argue it differently, of saying, like, me as a host, I'm not inviting you guys to say, come find all the sheds for me. I am saying
that's what that would be if that was the way you did it.
No, I would say that if you guys want to keep the sheds, you would keep the sheds. And if you wanted to give them up back to me, I would happily take them. But I'm not requiring. That is not why I asked you guys.
I got a $3 a point, $10 a pound, $12 an inch.
If I invited you guys to my farm
and we found deer, I guarantee there's probably fist fight those things.
No.
100%.
I'm going to lay down the law real quick. And I would probably tell you beforehand, there would probably be 1, maybe 2 deer that I would say, hey, if we find these, I would like them. This deer's around. He's a target for next year. I would appreciate if I kept those 2 deer or whatever it was. It's going to be 1 deer. Anything else, fair game. You find it. You can take
agree with that with Matt, because there's some deer that I have history with or found their sheds in the past, and if that deer was found again, I would want the next year shed to add to the collection.
Let me level set here. Let me sum this whole entire topic up that we just kicked off with this debate. The only way you deserve the sheds is if you kill that deer.
Well, the only reason those sheds were that big is because they ate GBT.
I don't care. That thing could have lived 9 miles away from you. The only way you deserve those sheds is if you kill that deer. You keep the sheds you find. It doesn't matter if it's your property, private property, public property, backyard, front yard, in the toilet, the shower. It doesn't matter where you find the shed at. It's your shed.
So you're keeping them unless I kill the deer. If I shot the deer, then you.
Then I'm like, man, that'd be really cool. You have the shed of the deer you killed. Otherwise, it's just a random deer that walked around and fell off on top.
What if it's a deer I had 2 years of history with? And
What
previous years matched
I'm
up?
on trail camera for 2 years.
Well, let's talk about trail cameras.
But that doesn't matter.
What?
You got him on trail. I got a picture of him. He's mine. That doesn't make any sense.
You want to go shed hunting?
I'd love to go.
All right, we're going.
If we're going to keep finding sheds like that, I'm all in.
There's zero chance.
We'll send you pictures.
Kill the deer. You can have the sheds.
All agree that deer are a public resource. We're not hunting high fence deer, so while we all might say my deer or my farm, they're not truly our deer. They're a public resource that can cross the fences, all those things. Now, if you shoot a deer, let's put it this way: your neighbor shoots a deer that you have on trail camera, talks to you about it, and brings it up. You guys both know about the deer. Do you think that you should be able to get pictures of that deer that you harvested?
No, it's not my trail camera. Why do I deserve his trail cam pictures? Makes no sense.
I'm just wondering,
If you kill the deer, do I deserve his trail cam pictures? Is your question?
I'm not necessarily saying would you deserve them. I'm more saying if your neighbor harvests a deer that you maybe have pictures of that year, the last 3 years, and you get to talking about it, do we feel obligated that we should share those trophy pictures? Does it give extra information away of those pictures that we have on our farm? Or do you think that, what do you guys think? What would you do?
I think it depends on your neighbors, how much you're willing to share. You really are hoping that you've got good neighbors that are like-minded.
Does it help with that relationship, though?
I got a question.
I mean, because I would almost argue that it does help the relationship.
Let's do this. We got Yardman, Sloan's on.
Oh, Sloan.
Sloan. We got Julie on.
Asman.
Let's ask you.
Hey, let's ask Cole first. Cole hunts my lease with me. He's a great dude, man. He shot a hammer this.
Cole, we're gonna expect that you got the same.
That deer.
We're gonna expect you got the same opinion as Matt, and respectfully,
I don't know if he does.
We don't know if he does. We want to know his opinion.
All right.
But we don't care if you call out Matt.
Cole, do you go?
Like it?
Open-ended question to Cole.
He goes, let's see. What did you say, Cole? Williams found the first side, I found the second side, and he gave me the first side. Yeah, because he's a pansy.
I gave him the first side.
He said he shot the deer the next year, so I gave him both back. Yeah, exactly my point. You kill the deer, you get the sheds.
But if Cole found Cole, all right, Cole, if you found that high and tight with split brows and I found the other side, I'd give it to you again. And if I shot it, you'd give it back, right?
He's saying that because he's sharing a lease now.
You ain't getting it cheaper, Cole. You ain't getting it cheaper. All right. Well, that's a good one to start this.
What about the trail cam pictures? I'm still on this because I've wondered this because I've had deer.
If you pay for my batteries, then you can have some pictures from my. To me, it's like doesn't make sense. Do you get my deer stand?
I guess
too?
it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's just kind of cool to have, but.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like respectfully, or is it the good sportsmanship thing to do? And your man said, I don't know the name, but he said it's a sportsmanship thing to do. Sure, like yeah, I'm probably going to give you the shed, and I'm probably going to send the pictures. But the preface of this was deserve or just
no. I don't think any of us would be required. It's not by law that you're required to give this stuff up.
There's so many variables that go into that.
There's enough there's enough people against us as hunters, and we're going to talk, back to the whole ego and the tradition thing, and to what we're trying to promote here is back to tradition of deer hunting.
Dude, I
got an answer.
Bringing us together.
I got an answer. Whichever side's bigger wins.
Ooh, pretty fair way to do it.
Yeah. Or kills the deer.
I mean, we're looking at a 178-inch buck that these guys can't see on camera, but don't you feel like it would be, I'm not saying to say the right thing to do, but wouldn't it be awesome if you had those sheds from the year before?
Yeah, they'd probably sit on the table right there.
Or on the pedestal.
Yeah, you put them right on the pedestal or underneath the deer. It'd be awesome to accent that whole setup with.
Here's the arguments. Okay? You prove the deer survived. Okay? Prove it. You did the scouting work first. So you're the one that led me to where the shed was going to fall. You deserve it. You know where he was at. Therefore, you get the shed. No, I don't like that argument. That was the hard one to find. So I could always find his left. I couldn't find his right. I heard that one before. And then, most people never find the second side anyways. So the person who found the first, it'd be really cool. You had a matching set.
Okay, how about this? You find one side and your neighbor finds the other side. What do you do?
Shoot the neighbor.
I would personally say if that was it probably comes back to the relationship I have with the neighbor, with the histories of the deer. Obviously, we're not talking about a small deer at this point. We're talking about a big mature deer. And I would probably hold on to the side that I found, and they'd probably hold on to the side that they found. And I was really good friends with them. And I would say if one of us harvests that deer, the other person will just mutually agree upon it is going to get that shed.
That'd be the gentleman thing to do.
You should go get yourself one of those little heart necklaces where they connect and y'all each have half a heart and y'all can hang out over there. Okay.
I think that's what makes the story of a big deer so special is when you start putting all those puzzle pieces together. And when you can complete that story, I think it's just a more memorable experience. So that's how I would probably approach it. If I found one shed, neighbor found another one, and they harvested that buck the next fall, as much as it hurt me, I would offer that shed to them so they could put that together as far as their collection goes.
You're a nice human, and you're a nice human. I'm not a nice human, I guess. Let's keep the shed hunting topics going, okay? And I think we got our answers. What did we get our answers finally before we go on? Don't expect somebody to give them up. Yeah, it's my point exactly. Harvested a 233-inch whitetail here in Kansas and would love to have his previous year's shed. Just going to drop that out there. I like it. No big deal. 233.
Yeah, give or take.
All right. Appreciate that one. You can put it on the table is what I call doing that right there. I think if I ask for some deer pictures harvested, then I should get them. But not so if you don't harvest it. I'm in the same page. You don't kill a deer, what's the matter? All right.
I didn't realize this was going to be such a hot topic.
Here's the thing.
It is.
Yeah. We kicked it off pretty good. All right. So let's keep the shed hunting going. Is shed hunting more competitive than actual hunting?
I don't know if it's more competitive.
I can tell you this. I've never been more fired up about a topic than shed hunting because y'all were about dessert. And I should guarantee he gets the right guy and all this other stuff.
I'll throw a twist on it. What do you put more hours into?
Hunting.
Personally, hunting for myself. But that's because I run an accounting business and shed season is a very difficult time of the year for me to get out. So I'm maybe only getting out once a week at best. I'm not putting on near the miles of a lot of other guys. So I would definitely say I'm putting in way more hours into hunting.
Here's the other question. Let's just say this. You and your buddy, you and Cole got that property. You find left side. He finds the right side. Are you all going to tell each other?
Well, yeah, yes, yeah, but that's an easy question, okay? Because if he found one side, I found the other, that's great.
Well, if you got rules in place that say he guarantees he has to give his up, maybe I don't tell him.
Yeah, but if one of us ends up killing that deer the following season, just like he did this year,
I found it in the back of my pickup truck, and there it is.
My bow kill from October 28th, I ended up shooting a buck that I found the first side, he found the second, and I actually gave him the match set. I got enough sheds. If you guys know me, I got probably more than I deserve, more than I need. And he gave it back to me. And that's how we would go in that situation. Then back to that first question though, I put more hours. I don't know if I put more time, but I definitely put more miles and hours into shed hunting. And I don't go out of state for deer hunting, but I go out of state for shed hunting. Shed hunting to me is probably almost as big or bigger of a passion than actually kill them.
How much overlap do you think that shed hunting helps us learn about our fall harvest rate?
If you do it right, it's the best time of the year to scout. Think about it. I turn my tracker on every time I shed hunt.
I would, I guess agree with that, but I'm talking about where those deer antlers are. Do you think that isn't much of an overlap? Where that deer drops his antlers to where we potentially could
yes and no
if it comes?
Yeah, yes and no. So you might find them in their bedding. So you might actually learn. You might not have been aware where their bedding area was or where that deer was bedding. And they're going to have multiple beds, right? They're going to bed in different parts of the farm. But if he drops it in his bed, that's going to help you understand where he's bedding at. but he could have dropped that thing in the middle of the night when he was in a destination field a mile away. So, but again, you're going to, based on that, based on trail cameras, you're going to be able to put every little piece of that information or all that intel is all going to come together if you're doing your homework right. I think it's a huge advantage.
I kind of cut you off, Matt, but the one thing that you mentioned is turning on your tracker while you're shed hunting, following the sign, marking that on your app. And so we use OnX personally, if you use whatever Hunt Stand or something else, but marking those trails, marking those rubs, those beds is all great information for the next year. I absolutely agree.
Best time of year to find it. I mean, really, you're not going to see anything.
Everything's matted down. The snow's, at least for us here in the Midwest, we've had snow. It's matted down that grass. Those deer trails are almost down to dirt.
The trails are way more prevalent right now than they are any other time of year. Your ability to see rubs and scrapes right now and find trails, intersections, beds, all of that right now is the time to scout for sure.
All right, you boys done?
Oh, yeah. Well, we can let it rest. What else you got?
Done with it. CPAC says, do you agree with the point that deer will move 20 miles between summer and winter range?
Here,
Depending on
where
where
we're at, I don't agree with that here in Nebraska.
All day long. I've got deer on my cameras.
20 miles?
Southeast Nebraska, I'm going to disagree.
Yeah.
Western Nebraska, other states, possibly.
Okay, let's just lay it out here. I know of deer on my farm all summer killed 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 miles away. Not 20.
Oh,
River. Okay?
Yeah.
So the premise of the question, is 20 really the number? What range? What is it? 9, 10, 12, 15, 20?
Average?
Which one? Because the tracker of the people that do this, the trackers show way more than 20. Hundreds of miles.
They share outliers, though. I don't agree with all those studies. I'm not saying that they didn't happen, that they put a collar on a deer, but did they put collars on 500 deer and one deer decided to travel 30 miles and then that's what they want to post about? Yeah, that's what they did. But how many times do we have deer that we know that they hardly leave 160 or even an 80 as they get older?
Yeah, I'll give an example. Splits, that deer that I shot in 2024. He was on that farm his entire life. He never left. My neighbors didn't know.
How do you know he didn't leave?
No, okay, let me put it this way. Great question. I will say, based on everything that all of my neighboring hunters were aware of, whether that was camera intel or time in the stand, no neighbors on all four sides of me knew about that deer. And I had him 12 months out of the year on camera. This year's buck, Cole knows, he's very familiar with him. When we picked that farm up, that deer was on camera. We found an old trail camera. Man, it was there forgotten. We looked at the SD card, gave the camera back to the previous hunter. But that deer was there his entire life. Now, where we're at there, that's a small farm. I know my neighbor to the north had him. In 2023, my neighbor to the east had him, but did not have him in 2024 and did not have him this year. So I think it's all relative to the deer. Some deer are going to be homebodies. Some deer are going to be roamers. A 3-year-old's probably going to travel 10 miles because he's getting his ass kicked by every other mature buck in the area. I think a 5 or 6-year-old that's mature and dominant, and he is the herd bull, if you will, for lack of better terms, he's not going to go anywhere. He's the big dog in that timber. He rules the roost. He's going to be right there where he knows he's safe. He knows he knows what we do more than we know what we do. Unless
you got a farm, and I think that this happened on the deer that I shot late season, was pressured by other hunters. I'm not saying, again, it can happen where a deer is there and it's consistent, but that, gun hunting pressure can come in and push those deer off a farm. Now, does it push them a half a mile or does it push them 5 miles? I can't necessarily answer to that. I mean, we don't have that study, but can you push a mature deer off a farm? Let's say he's there, he's going to plan on, fall, winter in there.
You can 100% push a mature deer away from this thing to never come back.
Yeah. That comes back to, I say it a lot to you guys, entry, exit, man. If you are able to slip in and slip out undetected all the time and your neighbors don't have that game figured out, you've got a huge advantage because all their deer are going to get pushed to you.
We're making a new women's shirt, entry, exit.
Well,
that's going to be
so again, it's
this summertime. Oh, on the lake.
That's
going to be a
one
good
of
one.
it's one of those things that it's starting to get talked about a little bit more, but I think it's one of those aspects of deer hunting that is it's not a high enough priority. Entry exit.
People think about what's my wind or what maybe even they're considering thermals from the stand. But like you said, they're not thinking about where do I park the truck? How do I walk in? How do I access this property or this stand? And how am I consistent?
I think y'all think people are dumber than they are. I don't think they're all that dumb. How many people park in their truck and shoot a deer every year?
A lot.
Out of the truck.
How many guys ruin their hunt before they get to their stand?
A lot, but I'm saying I bet you half and half that half of them shoot them out the window of their truck.
Yeah,
from the same spot. And one time.
These guys that are doing it, are they a farmer that they don't hunt their farm at all? They're not on their farm hunting.
They farm
364 days a year, and opening day rifle season, they go up. They sit on the same hillside every year. Some years they shoot a 2.5-year-old. Some years they shoot a 3.5-year-old.
All right, here's the question.
But what about the guys that are consistently killing a big deer every single year?
Here's the question.
What about
well, to your point then, in order to kill big deer, you got to have big deer. Full stop.
We're stopped.
Okay? People that say I kill big deer every year, their argument is that I'm some better, more advanced, smarter hunter than everyone else. All things considered, let me take Matt, cut him in half, put him on 2 properties, okay? One has a big deer, one doesn't. Which one's going to shoot a big deer? The one that has the big deer. By logic alone, you have to have a big deer to kill a big deer. You can't attract big deer. Your whole arguments in the last 5 minutes have been big deer, you're going to entry exit and all this other stuff, and you're going to kill.
Yeah,
okay, and take that argument into this one. In order to kill a big deer, you have to have a big deer. So for most people that don't have a big deer, a mature deer, 150s plus, whatever it may be, if they don't have those deer to kill, they're not going to kill it.
All right.
First, they're not. But take the other guy that is maybe not doing entry and exit well. They're not paying attention to wind. They're not paying attention to thermals. And you split them in half and put them on the same farms and run them up against your scenario with Matt hunting that farm, not conflicting with each other on the same year.
Yeah, but you're taking
who's gonna harvest the big deer? I'm gonna vote and argue that the guy who's doing the things the right way is gonna have a way better opportunity, higher success rate on those mature deer than the guy who's not.
So your argument is, let me recap it. Brand new hunter doesn't know anything. Veteran hunter knows everything. Big deer is on a property. Enter both into the property. Which one has a better chance to kill the big deer? The veteran or the rookie?
What time of year is it?
That's where I was going to go with it.
Yeah. This is a cool topic. Yeah. And listen, I heard a podcast just this morning, and it was great. I didn't even recognize the 2 guys. It just popped up on a feed, but it was a great topic. This guy's telling, he must have been a land manager or whatnot, but he got called out to this farm, and this guy was saying, hey, look, I've got these 2 farms. They had food plots, they had scrapes, mock scrapes, the whole 9 yards, trails mowed so they could get in and get out, whatever. They done it the whole 9 yards, right? And their problem and the reason why they hired this land manager to come in and help them was there was one piece in the middle. It was an 80, and that 80-acre landowner only hunted rifle, and he only sat on a bucket. Right? Didn't have a clue. He probably didn't know thermals. He didn't know anything. But that little piece in the middle of this farm, that guy was killing the big deer every year. And most of the time, that guy was killing a big deer it was a pair of guys. They owned both sides of him. They didn't even know about that deer. And what it boiled down to was those guys, they knew everything, right? They knew thermals. They knew entry, exit. They knew all of that. But they were in there so much. And this other guy who owned 80 acres in the middle of them, he didn't set foot in that farm except for once a year, and he'd go in there and shoot a giant. So pressure.
All the arguments
you can know everything, man.
All the arguments I would say exactly agree with you. It has, in order to kill a big deer, you have to have a big deer. Bottom line, doesn't matter. All the other things, skill in deer hunting, there is a lot of skill in deer hunting. Can't take that away. There's a lot of tactics and strategies. We all do it every year, right? But you're not going to kill a big deer if you don't have one. Okay,
so
let's go to the next topic though, real quick. What do you got?
Well, what's more important than skill or luck?
I think what's more, yeah, okay.
I mean, damn, who kills bigger deer? Skilled hunters or lucky hunters?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we don't hear about the skilled hunters killing big deer because they do it and it's normal. But when we hear that lucky guy kill one big deer, everybody hears it's on social media.
I would argue go into their house or their shop and how many shoulder mounts do they have of these big deer. And you're typically going to find in this argument that the skilled hunter, the veteran hunter, the guy that puts in all the work all the time, pays attention to all these details that we're talking about, is probably going to have a lot more mature bucks harvested. That's not saying that they're going to have the biggest deer, though. The biggest deer can be anybody. Anybody who takes the chance, goes out in the woods and tries. Always, there's that opportunity out there. I mean, a lot of these state record deer aren't always a situation where someone knows about this deer for.
Let's keep going with this topic, because the question now became, if I walk in your shop and you don't have big deer mounted on your wall, you're not a good hunter.
No, go into the house.
Okay, you're the house, the shop. Right? Let me just tell you, if you grow up in Florida and you get to hunt Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, and then you move to Nebraska, what do we got? And then you move to Nebraska. The perfect example. I can't kill big deer in Florida. You know why? I don't have big deer in Florida.
Yeah. Well, is it relative to the area in which you're hunting them? And I would argue, yes, it's relative.
The point is,
so if a big deer in Florida is 90 inches and you're killing 90-inch deer in Florida, then that's awesome.
Okay, but you walk in my shop in Nebraska, you're going to see a whole bunch of 120s, 130s, 140s.
And I did. I asked you. I said,
and everyone's going to say, oh, you shoot the little deer. I'm like, that one was Florida, that was Georgia, that was Alabama, that's Mississippi, that's South Carolina. And they're like, oh, wow. And I'm like, those are all big deer in those areas.
And they are. And no one's taking anything from you on that.
Point being, though, is like you got to have a big deer and kill a big deer. Now we're talking about the definition of a big deer. All right, let's go on. All right. Whew. That one got me fired up.
Deep breath.
Okay.
Let's talk about your question earlier about.
I want to save that one for the end for you, because I know you got stacks of stories and stuff for this one, because I want you to talk about Edward Scissorhead. So this one I've been eyeballing. Are we obsessed with the score? And it goes right off the last topic. And I would argue, take away that it's relative to where you hunt, or it's
relative to where you're at in your career.
Take all that aside. Bottom line is, if you're from Miami or you're from Oregon, New York, Nebraska, Illinois, Kansas, Wisconsin, Minnesota, all the big deer killing states, if you bring your best deer into a group of hunters, which one do you think everyone's going to look at?
The biggest deer.
The big one.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Obsessed? You mean, are you asking that in the point of, have we just forgotten what hunting's all about?
That's a good point.
I mean, are we too obsessed with shooting giant bucks, and we've forgotten that it's more about tradition, the camaraderie, and the little things? I mean, if that's what you're asking, yeah, for sure we have. There's not near as many people that have hunting camps. There's, hey, we're going to all be at Cody's cabin for the weekend, and or like Pennsylvania, I think they still hold on to that tradition.
They do. I want to jump in there. When I started going out to Pennsylvania, I have a really good friend I went to school with. He's going to be part of my wedding this year, and we're really good friends. And I know that they don't shoot big deer in comparison to what we consider big deer here in Nebraska. And he invited me out there, and I went out there for the first time, and I got to experience something that I'd really even never experienced, even in Nebraska before all the social media, all this stuff.
What was your first thing you said, though? I'm not going to shoot that deer. Everybody that travels to a smaller deer state, say, I'm not shooting that deer. And it's the largest deer they have. It's a 120, and they'd be tickled pink. And then you're going to pass it, and you're like, why?
I got ridiculed after the first day. I passed a deer that I definitely should have shot, being in that area, what was, a big deer, a mature deer for that area. But what is so great about the tradition out there is the hunting camps. That's something we just don't have it here. Now, we've tried to put it together here. And Cody, you've done a great job of inviting people from out of state. And this year I did the same thing of inviting guys into Nebraska and trying to put together that camaraderie. But that is something that I think is lost. And if we can help put that back together, that tradition, that hunting camp thing is super strong of just ultimately what we're trying to do of building friendships, relationships in the sport, not so much of the ego side of things is saying, this is my deer. I'm going to be the only one who hunts this deer. I don't want any pressure on my farms. I don't want to invite other people in. It's so much fun having other guys come in to camp, having success, even if it's not the biggest deer. Maybe it's in Nebraska here, 125-inch deer. They shoot that biggest deer maybe it's their biggest deer. That's awesome for them.
I can say
happy
this.
to see it.
You bring a guy from Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South
Michigan.
Carolina, Michigan. Yeah, Michigan got big. But I'm saying you bring those guys up here in Nebraska, and you're used to shooting big deer. Big deer Nebraska is not big deer Alabama, okay? That guy comes up here, a 130 comes out, he shoots it. He's absolutely like,
He's
I
jacked.
can't believe I shot it. This is awesome. And you walk up and you say something like, man, you shot a good 3-year-old or a 4-year-old. Then you're like, big.
Just like that.
Well, that's how you sounded when you said it. I'm just saying it. The relative to where you hunt thing is important to say, but I think Nebraskans, they're spoiled. Big deer here. Everyone talks about all the
Incorrect. Nebraska has 0 big deer.
Don't come here. Yeah. We
I like
invite
the next topic.
10,000. We got that. Let's move on. Okay. So I want to actually go to this one. So this one right here. Has hunting become more about content than connection? I have a lot of opinion on this, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. So is hunting about, I got to prep there's my outfit, and there's my rifle, and here's my scope, and here's my backpack, and here's my binos, and my harnesses, and my Sitkas, and my Kuyus, and my name brands, and my pickup truck with my logo on the back? Or just a deer camp?
I think it's 100% gone to the side of it's about content. And that's what we all noticed this past year, and what we've discussed is because we all pushed these people away. We pushed our friends, our family, whatever it is, off our farms so we can do all these things. We can have minimal intrusion, perfect entry and exit, not overpressuring our deer, so we can be the one to harvest the big buck. But so what we do, we go on, because we've lost the camaraderie side of it, we go to social media and we want to talk about it because we want that sense of a culture around us. And so I think we've pushed a lot of these people away, and I think it's important that we try to bring people back together with this. And shit, like Matt said, whatever. I think on the last podcast about, some of the biggest deer that are ever harvested in the United States back in, 70s, 80s, 90s. It didn't matter back then. These people all hunted together and had a great time.
What's your thoughts, Matt?
I think both. There's still a lot of, the camaraderie here is great. Our deer camp's fantastic. On the flip side of that, I think, me personally, maybe I have individualized it a lot. And I share a couple farms with people, but I've isolated myself. I don't want any more interference than I need. I don't bring in a lot of people.
I know, I've asked.
Hey,
There's somebody else that you can.
I'm both.
Please, let's go.
I'm both. Like, I still cherish the camaraderie. I still cherish the tradition. And I'm going to be the first to admit that I also want not soul control, but I want everything done right on the farms I'm hunting.